That's 13 years. So this isn't the first time, by the way, that her conservatorship has been evaluated. 39 has no control over her life. Hey guys, so today's video I wanted to talk about the Britney conservatorship. So I don't think I will be able to do this anywhere near enough justice, so I'll make sure to link below some of the videos that I think are very in-depth and respectful of the matter. I just want to cover some of the points that I think are really important. The first thing to know is, what is a conservatorship? Wikipedia says that under US law, conservatorship is the appointment of a guardian or a protector by a judge to manage the financial affairs and or daily life of another person due to old age or physical or mental limitations. A person under conservatorship is a conservatee, a term that can refer to an adult. Britney Spears has been in a conservatorship since 2008, so that's 13 years. There were multiple videos in 2020 and I believe even early 2021 where they thought that Britney was shouting for help. For instance, someone would say in a comment, wear a red shirt and we will know that you're asking for our help. And the very next video, she would be wearing a red shirt. Every time that Britney has spoken about the conservatorship publicly prior to she made her statement, which I will be taking some points from in a second, but it's only been the last couple of months that Britney has actually been able to speak out about her conservatorship. And all the previous times she made it clear that she was fine, that she's healthy, that she's being taken care of, etc.
I just want to let you guys know that I am fine.
Okay, so she says I am fine, and she does this here, which this is a defensive gesture. It's literally subconsciously pushing people away. I'm fine. You'll also take a look at her face when she says fine. Right afterwards, she does a little head movement and does a lip compression. A lip compression can mean something subconsciously. If somebody does a lip compression, it can mean that they are biting back words. Their mouth is literally compressing shut, saying don't say these things because they're false, because you shouldn't.
Actually, that's really far from the truth. There is a video that was recorded of the full statement. However, the person is constantly typing and having messages come through on their phone. I don't know what it is. I have like a really low tolerance at the moment for like those kind of noises. Like even YouTube ads like really irritate me recently. I don't know what it is. So I couldn't listen to that. I'll link the video in case you're interested, and I will link the full statement that was fully written out if you have the similar thing to me, because there was quite a lot of people in the comments of that video saying they could not listen to this because it was so difficult to concentrate, especially. So I'm not going to read the full statement. I'm just going to highlight a few of the points that I think are incredibly sad and toxic about this conservatorship that's so important to highlight. I've been in shock. I am traumatized. I just want my life back. She wants the conservatorship she feels is abusive to end without having to be evaluated. So this isn't the first time, by the way, that her conservatorship has been evaluated and judges have assigned new people to oversee it or something, because the main issue is without a doubt Britney's own family. They fully take advantage of her, including her father, who is the main person in charge of her conservatorship. Honestly, it's just really sad to know that someone who's 38, 39 has no control over her life. Can you really imagine that your father, your family that should be there to support you and make sure you're safe, that all they're doing is leeching off of you and controlling you? The people who did this to me should not be able to walk away so easily. To recap, I was on tour in 2018. I was forced to do. My management said if I don't do this tour, I will have to find an attorney, and by contract my own management could sue me if I didn't follow through with the tour. He handed me a sheet of paper as I got off the stage in Vegas and said I had to sign it. It was very threatening and scary, and with the conservatorship, I didn't even get my own attorney. So out of fear, I went ahead and I did the tour. When I came off that tour, a new show in Vegas was supposed to take place. I started rehearsing early, but it was hard because I'd been doing Vegas for 4 years and I needed a break in between. But no, I was told this is the timeline and this is how it's going to go. I rehearsed 4 days a week, half of the time in the studio and half the time in Westlake studio. I was basically directing most of the show. I actually did most of the choreography, meaning I taught my dancers my new choreography myself. I take everything I do very seriously. There's tons of video with me at rehearsals. I wasn't good, I was great. I led a room of 16 dancers in rehearsals. It's funny to hear my manager's side of the story. They all said I wasn't participating in rehearsals and I never agreed to take my medication, which my medication is only taken in the mornings, never at rehearsal. They don't even see me, so why are they even claiming that? When I said no to one dance move into rehearsals, it was as if I planted a huge bomb somewhere and I said no, I don't want to do it this way. After that, my management, my dancers and my assistant, new people that were supposed to do the new show, all went into a room, shut the door and didn't come out for at least 45 minutes. Ma'am, I'm not here to be anyone's slave. I can say no to a dance move. I was told by my at the time therapist, Dr. Benson, who died in 2019, that my manager called him and told him I wasn't cooperating or following the guidelines in rehearsals. And he also said I wasn't taking my medication, which is so dumb, because I've had the same lady every morning for the past 8 years give me my same medication, and I'm nowhere near these stupid people. It made no sense. 3 days later, after I said no to Vegas, my therapist sat me down in a room and said he had a million phone calls about how I was not cooperating in rehearsals and I haven't been taking my medication. All of this was false. He immediately, the next day, put me on lithium out of nowhere. He took me off my normal meds I've been on for 5 years, and lithium is a very, very strong and completely different medication compared to what I was used to. You can go mentally impaired if you take too much, if you stay on it longer than 5 months. But he put me on that and I felt drunk. Not only did my family not do a goddamn thing, my dad was all for it. Everything that happened to me had to be approved by my dad, and my dad acted like he didn't know that I was told I had to be tested over the Christmas holidays before they sent me away when my kids went home to Louisiana. He was the one who approved all of it. My family did nothing. Notice how she doesn't say the majority of my family, most of my family. She says my whole family. That'll become important in a minute. The control he had over someone as powerful as me, he loved the control to hurt his own daughter 100,000%. He loved it. I packed my bags, went to this place. I worked 7 days a week, no days off, which in California, the only similar thing to this is called sex trafficking. Making anyone work against their will, taking all their possessions away, credit card, cash, phone, passport, and placing them in a home where they work with the people who live with them. They all lived in the house with me, the nurses, 24/7 security. There was one chef that came there and cooked for me during the weekdays. They watched me every day, naked, morning, noon and night. My body. I had no privacy door for my room. I gave 8 vials of blood a week. If I didn't do any of my meetings and work from 8 to 6 at night, which is 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, no days off, I wouldn't be able to see my kids or my boyfriend. I never had a say in my schedule. They always told me I had to do this. And ma'am, I will tell you, sitting in a chair 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, it ain't fun, and especially when you can't walk out the front door. And that's why I'm telling you. 2 years later, I've lied and told the world I'm okay. It's a lie. I thought just maybe if I said that enough, maybe I might become happy. Because I've been in denial, I've been in shock, and I am traumatised. But now I'm telling you the truth, okay? I'm not happy. I can't sleep. I'm so angry it's insane, and I'm depressed. I cry every day. And the reason I'm telling you this is because I don't think how the state of California can have all this written in the court documents from the time I showed up and do absolutely nothing. Just hire, with my money, another person and keep my dad on board. My dad and anyone involved in this conservatorship and my management who played a huge role in punishing me when I said no, they should be in jail. My precious body, who has worked for my dad for the past 13 years, trying to be so good and pretty, so perfect, when he works me so hard, when I do everything I'm told in the state of California, allowed my father, ignorant father, to take his own daughter, who only has a role with me, if I work with him. That's given these people I've worked for way too much control. I would honestly like to sue my family. To be totally honest with you, I also would like to be able to share my story with the world and what they did to me, instead of it being hush-hush secret to benefit all of them. I want to be able to be heard on what they did to me. By making me keep this in for so long, it is not good for my heart. I've been so angry and I cry every day. It concerns me. I'm told I'm not allowed to expose the people who did this to me. The main reason why I'm here is because I want to end the conservatorship without having to be evaluated. I've done a lot of research and there's a lot of judges who do end conservatorships for people without them having to be evaluated all the time. The only times they don't is if a concerned family member says something wrong with this person. And considering my family has lived off my conservatorship for 13 years, I won't be surprised if one of them has something to say going forward and say, we don't think this should end. We have to help her, especially if I get my fair turn exposing what they did to me. I want to be able to get married and have a baby. I was told now in the conservatorship I'm not able to get married or have a baby. I have an IUD inside of myself right now so I don't get pregnant. I wanted to take the IUD out so I could start trying to have another baby. But this so-called team won't let me go to the doctor to take it out because they don't want me to have any more children. So basically this conservatorship is doing way more harm than good. I deserve to have a life. I've worked my whole life. I deserve to have 2 to 3 year break and just do what I want to do. But I do feel like there is a crutch here. And I feel open and I'm okay to talk to you today. I wish I could stay with you on the phone forever because when I get off this phone with you, all of a sudden all I hear, all these no's, no, no, no. And then all of a sudden I get to feel ganged up on and feel bullied. So, there's actually a lot more to the statement, but like I said, I'm just trying to hit the main points that are absolutely revolting about this conservatorship, and I can only imagine all of the other conservatorships going on in California or anywhere else in the world if they are allowed. This is by California law. I don't know if any other countries or states do that. After hearing all of that, and like I said, there's way more, the judge denied the request to remove Britney's father from the conservatorship. How is that okay? How can anyone, not just as a judge, but anyone look at any situation and see that a person is being so abused? So after all the backlash, Jamie-Lynn Spears released a video. She was trying to make it clear that Britney's full statement had nothing to do with her because she's completely supportive of her sister.
Now that she's very clearly spoken and said what she needed to say, I feel like I can follow her lead and say what I feel I need to say. I think it's extremely clear that since the day I was born, I've only loved, adored, and supported my sister. I mean, this is my freaking big sister before any of this bullshit. Because I have nothing to gain or lose either way. This situation does not affect me either way because I am only her sister who is only concerned about her happiness. I've made a very conscious choice in my life to only participate in her life as her sister, as an aunt to those boys. Maybe I didn't support her the way the public would like me to, with a hashtag on a public platform, but I can assure you that I've supported my sister long before there was a hashtag, and I'll support her long after.
That's not exactly the case, is it? Because, firstly, her body language said exactly the opposite of that.
I have nothing to gain or lose either way.
I don't think that's true either. Maybe not directly benefiting from it, but if the family is doing well, then everybody in the family is more likely to do well, meaning that she'll probably do better if Britney's doing better, so on and so forth. So this bothers me right here because she goes to have emotion come up in her voice, but it's not reflected remotely in her nonverbal communication except for the conscious and false wiping of tears or something along those lines. The argument could be made that when she's doing this thing, that there's suddenly an itch. Maybe she just had the need to touch her nose there. It could be a coincidence, but I don't believe so considering the context. With the context of what she just said and then trying to wipe away a tear, there's not a tear. There's no sadness reflected anywhere else in her nonverbal communication aside from her tone that you can consciously and easily change. So with that display, it feels a little bit manipulative that she's trying to really win the audience over to sympathize with her in her position of only wanting to be a good aunt to the boys, even though Britney didn't exclude her from being in the family who was terrible to her.
And then Britney posted an Instagram picture. And it said, "Never forget who ignored you when you needed them and who helped you before you even had to ask." And she made a statement saying, "There's nothing worse than when the people closest to you who never showed up for you post things in regards to your situation, whatever it may be, and speak righteously for support. There's nothing worse than that. How dare the people you love the most say anything at all? Did they even put a hand out to even lift me up at the time? How dare you make it public that now you care?" I think that's a pretty clear statement. So then Jamie-Lynn Spears posted a picture on Instagram saying, "May the peace of the Lord be with you and your spirit." Britney pretty much retaliated, saying, "May the Lord wrap your mean ass up in joy." This is pretty clear that now that Britney is finally allowed to post on her social media, she has finally got her voice after 13 years of fucking abuse. And, you know, people like TMZ saying maybe she should have been in a conservatorship all along because look at what the difference is. Fuck you for normalising judging women's bodies. Fuck you. One of the reasons I wanted to make this video is because Perez Hilton, if you don't know who he is, I just remember seeing a video of him crying, begging for his TikTok back. He tweeted, and I think this is like a clip of his podcast or something. He said that it's not right of Britney to lash out at her sister who has been taking advantage of her because her sister has kids.
Britney feels wronged. In her own words, she feels abused. She's gotten to a point now where she said no more. Some people could perceive her recent words and actions as lashing out. But when you act out, you're making your private family drama public. And over the weekend, more than once, she drafted really long Instagram captions that were explosive and incendiary and attacking her family. And for the first time, I think, even name checking her sister, who has 2 young daughters. All right, I'll ask you this question. Is it Britney Spears' responsibility to worry about the happiness, well-being, and safety of her nieces?
Yes.
Is her blasting her sister on Instagram a positive for her sister's kids?
No.
So where was his concern with Britney and her kids and how she was constantly being abused and by TMZ and people like him? You don't get off to say that you're not allowed to say a single word to Jamie-Lynn about her behaviour and her treatment of her sister when Britney is the one who's been abused. Jamie-Lynn is one of the abusers. Britney is without a doubt within her right to be able to speak her truth, finally, after 13 years. God forbid she should be frustrated, huh? That's all I wanted to say on the subject. If you enjoyed the video, please give this a like and subscribe if you feel like it. I'd really appreciate it. Hopefully I'm going to have a very exciting video coming soon. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye!